GT the Vibe Podcast, episode 4. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cuatro. I don't speak that much Spanish, though. All right, so episode 4. We're still talking about the other side. I don't even know what, I don't even know what, it's crazy. I'm on episode 4, and I mean, I'm mass shooting, obviously. I don't even know what to name this dang series, but we're going to figure something. We're going to get a name that's popping. So, um, so episode 4. So we've kind of gone through a couple of things. We talked about um, the, let me give you the three things we talked about. God will give you wisdom on how to deal with a narcissistic person now that you've left. He will show you that God is the center of all things, not the narcissist person. So they can think they're the center of all things, but they're not the center of shit. He will rebuild your self worth and your identity. And then number fourth thing he'll do, give you a righteous anger and supernatural grace towards the narcissist who mentally abuse you. This is deep. This is going to be a deep one. Buckle up. He will give you a righteous anger. And it's crazy because you think anger is not righteous, but there's some anger. You should be angry with this person for the way that they did you. But on the other hand, grace. Because at the end of the day, grace is gonna get you more of what you want than anything else. Because if you hate a person, if you go to bed and you go to sleep every night with hate in your heart, it's going to eat away at you. In order for you to let go of what was done to you, you must have grace. Grace is key and is part of the healing process. Not to hate, but to have grace. Now, righteous anger is good. Like, you obviously need to be upset about what was done to you, but that does not mean that vengeance is yours. Like, you don't need to be trying to, you don't need to turn to sin to get back at somebody who wronged you. Obviously, that would be stupid. And so, let's talk about what it says in Luke 17, 1 through 2. Temptations to sin are sure to come, but woe to the one through whom they come. It would be better for him if a millstone were hung around his neck and he were cast into the sea than that he should cause one of these little ones to sin. And so you don't need to turn to sin to get back at anybody. You need to allow for God to do his work because vengeance is his anyway. And whatever is going to happen is going to happen through him. And whatever is supposed to happen is going to happen because of him. And so you have no control over that. And I think that once you get to a point where you're on the other side and you're healing, right, you can have grace. It's okay to have grace. You don't need to hate the person. You don't need to get back at the person. You don't need no karma for the person because all you're doing is making yourself like that person. That's the type of stuff that brought them to the point where they're at. That's evil, right? And you don't need to fight evil with evil, right? Fighting evil with evil is not going to work. So you have to bring some type of righteousness, some goodness into it, and that's where it comes from. It comes from grace. And so you have to have grace in situations like this and understand that the person wasn't trying to it's not about you, it's more so about them. And once you realize that, it will really help you kind of push to that next level. Because like I said, you gotta do those three things. You gotta have zero contact with the person. Number one, you gotta heal. So therapy, prayer, friends, all those things. And then you have to grow. You have to do those three things. And this is part of the growth, is having grace for somebody who wronged you. And so in Ephesians 4:26-27 states, be angry and do not sin. Do not let the sun go down on your anger and give no opportunity to the devil. Because if you do that, you're allowing evil in. So now you're allowing evil into yourself because of the evil that was done to you. So that's why there's a righteous anger. Yes. It's okay to be angry, but do not sin. It's right to be angry at times, but we must not sin in our anger, or else we are allowing the devil a foothold in our own lives. And that's the key right there. Yes, you can be angry about what happened, and that's what keeps that person away from you. That's what keeps you from going back to that place, right? That's righteous anger. That's okay. Now, don't go to sin. You don't want to go beat this person up. You don't want to go damage their property. You don't want to go slander their name. Like, you don't want to go do any of that because that is allowing a foothold for the devil to come into your life now. Because the devil's already in their life. Like, once you realize that these people are miserable and their life suck and they hate themselves, You don't need to add nothing else to it, right? Yes, they did you wrong. Yes, they harmed you, but that does not necessarily mean that you go back on and sin against them. Like the best karma to these people is for you to not talk to them anymore, not contact them, for you to heal, and then for you to grow. Those three things right there, that's all the karma you need. But those things aren't focused on the individual. Those things are focused on the victim. So you must turn the focus to yourself, right? Once you turn the focus to yourself and work on what you need to work on, then you can actually grow and then you can actually heal past all this stuff. Because this is a lot. I mean, it literally is a lot. And from my personal experience, I can tell you it's a lot. It's a lot. And it's hard. Like sometimes you want to go and tell a person about themselves. Sometimes you want to go do harm to somebody, right? Somebody who wronged you. That's a normal, natural human reaction to these type of things. But we can't do that because we're individuals of God. We represent God. Does God go out there and terrorize the whole civilizations? Yeah, he will do that. But as God, we're not God, right? And so I like Ephesians. That's a good verse. You know, be angry, do not sin. Do not sin. Have a little bit of grace. Righteous anger, a little bit of grace, because you don't want the devil to get inside you. That's a good one. So if you've been mentally abused by a narcissist, God will give you a holy anger about this. He will give you a holy anger. But he will also give you supernatural grace to forgive this person even though they do not deserve it. Because grace ain't about deserving. Because think about it like this. We sin all the time. I'm a sinner. You're a sinner, right? God gives us grace. God gives us grace when we don't deserve it. So, and this is key. This is key. I put this in my notes. Forgiveness is very different than reconciliation. You're not reconciling with this person. You're not going back to him. You can forgive him and never see him again. That's perfectly fine. Forgive him, but you ain't got to never see him again. That's fine. The Bible doesn't say that you have to have a relationship with this person again that has abused you. You got to guard your heart. Proverbs 4:23. And if someone abused you in the past, you must seek to prevent them from abusing you again. But God still commands us to forgive. So, in Proverbs, it literally spills it out for you. If someone abused you in the past, you must seek to prevent that from happening again. But God still commands you to forgive. So you can forgive somebody, but not allow them to abuse you or do you like that anymore. And that's where the separation comes from. No contact. No contact. Like you cannot contact that person. That person cannot contact you. You're a ghost. You're Cas. You don't went Casper on. Literally went Casper on. The best way because this allows you to forgive because you can look back on the situation. You can go through all the emotions of all the pain, all the heartache that they made you feel. They made you feel like you're nothing. They went from make you feel like you're something to make you feel like you're nothing. Make you feel like you're the nut like you're the scum on the bottom of their foot. Like they make you feel like that. And so you get those feelings. You remember those feelings. But you still have to forgive. Because grace is important for your own healing. That's the key. Grace is important for your own healing. Forgiveness is important for your own healing. Because you don't want the evil that person has bestowed upon you to have a foothold in your life. This is how you keep it. So this is the growth part of my three-prong approach. No contact, healing. This is the growth part. This is the next level. This is when you've taken a few steps and now you just want to grow. This is how you grow. You have to have a righteous anger. Do not let them do it again. And forgive. Forgiveness is not saying that what they did to you is okay. That's not what forgiveness is. Let's not get forgiveness confused of what forgiveness actually is. It's not saying, okay, oh, well, what you did was okay. I'm cool with what you did. No, what you did was wrong. But because I am loved by God and I love God, I will forgive you. You're releasing them of the punishment they rightfully deserve. That's hard for some of y'all out there. But that does not mean that you want this person to be spared of discipline. Discipline may look like punishment, but it has a different goal, right? It has a different goal. So punishment and discipline are two different things. So you're releasing this person from punishment that they rightfully deserve, but that doesn't mean that God won't discipline. It has a different goal. Punishment is what's given to make someone pay for what they did. Discipline is a consequence meant to help change bad behavior. Can this person change? God can change anybody, so he can. So it's crazy. Somebody abuses you, you're supposed to forgive them. It's crazy. But if we take up our cross daily, like Jesus did, people whipped him and cut him, and he's bleeding everywhere. They put nails in his hands, and he forgave them. So who are we to sit here and say we aren't supposed to forgive individuals for the wrong that they did to us? So we are choosing not to hate them, and we are trusting God. So when you forgive, spiritually speaking, when you forgive, we are releasing them from punishment. We're choosing not to hate them, right? We're entrusting God to deal with them how he sees fit. So we've taken the vengeance from ourselves, right? The hatred from ourselves. We've given it to God, and you do what you got to do. And trust God will do what he has to do. Like he will handle his business. He'll do what he has to do. He ain't never not done what he's supposed to do. Ephesians 4:32. Be kind to one another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another as God as Christ forgave you. Only God's supernatural grace can this occur in our hearts. So you have to rely on God to give you the type of grace it's going to take to actually forgive this person. That's the growth part. My three prong approach. I'm patented. No contact, healing, growth. In the growth part, that's where forgiveness comes in. And the fact that you would even forgive a person like that talks more about you than it does about anything else. Because if you notice the growth approach that I'm talking about, all the things that I've said have to literally do with the victim. When you look at the way that God deals with people in these situations, the way that he brings you out, the way that he heals you, he ain't say nothing about the narcissist or the person with the mental health, the mental illness, sorry. He ain't say nothing about them. Everything is focused on the victim. So literally turn the magnifying glass to yourself and start working on you. That's how you overcome these situations. Working on yourself, allowing yourself to be able to grow, allowing yourself to be able to feel again, allowing yourself to be able to trust again, allowing yourself to be able to set boundaries, right? Allowing yourself to be able to be okay with the fact that you're not perfect. We're not perfect. Sometimes we're gonna slip up and we will have these type of people pop up in our lives. Yes. Yes, we will. Ain't nobody perfect. People will tell you, oh, how did you let this happen? Yada yada yada. Don't pay that no mind. Don't pay them no attention. If people talk a mess about you when you've been mentally abused, then they need to get the heck about your life. Period. And it's crazy because a lot of people will probably disagree with forgiveness for a narcissist. They'll probably disagree. But I'm a man of God. And that's what God has commanded me to do. So that's what the heck I'm going to do. It's going to take time now. It's not going to happen overnight. It ain't just, oh, damn, you're just forgiving right now today. No, it's not now. Because I'm still in the healing process. Still, I'm in the healing process. So I'm still in the process of healing. Like I ain't even got to the growth part yet. Like you dabble in the growth part a little bit as you're in the healing process. So you may dabble in and get a little piece here and there, but you're focused on healing because I have to heal myself to be the type of person I want to be. I have to let it go. Heal myself, let it go. Move on. Just move on. In closing, um, I'm gonna throw out a couple songs that I've been listening to that have really helped through this process. Um, One of them is by Need to Breathe. It's called Walking on Water. It's basically talking about Peter. It's crazy. God entrusted him, the Lord entrusted him to walk on water. It's crazy, man. As soon as I got out the boat, I was just stepping. Man, let the waves come. And Alive by Big Daddy Weave. Great, great, great songs have been instrumental, um, extremely instrumental. So I mean, it's important. It's important to have good music, um, uplifting. And let me give you guys some advice real quick before I get out of here. Something my counselor told me. He's like, man, you gotta be able to affirm yourself, and that's part of the growth. We'll add that into the growth category. Telling yourself that you're good enough. Telling yourself, just start out your day. Tell yourself three things that you like about yourself, and then you'll realize that the love bombing shit, that ain't nothing. Like you'll feel good about yourself, and you'll get it from within. Then you don't have to seek it elsewhere. Because I think that's the key. If you can get that stuff from within, you ain't got to seek it elsewhere. So that's GG the Vibe Podcast. This is episode 4. Got one more to go. We appreciate you guys rocking with us, vibing with us. Please like, share, subscribe, comment on the post. If you got any comments, anything you want to hear us talk about, bring it up. We'll talk about it. We got one more episode on this series this week. Um, it's gonna be a good one. It'll probably be a little bit longer because I'm gonna kind of go over the last one and then I'm gonna put it all together. And it'll be a good one. So I look forward to pushing that one out here soon. Like I said, I appreciate you guys continuing to rock with us. GT5 Podcast. I'm out.